Gala Music, how is it going? Welcome to another AMA. I am super psyched today to be introducing to the community Nicky. Nicky, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going amazing. Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to the Gala Music team and everybody in the community. Thank you for having me.
So we started talking about bringing you on months ago,
Yeah.
and I was really excited because I think I've talked a bit about this before. They let me talk to some artists and get some things rolling, and so in my head, it's like my Gala Music fantasy team,
Hell yeah.
and you're like one of those guys that like, yes, like let's get my team stocked.
Let's go.
We're gonna go off. It's gonna be amazing. So you're finally on board. You're dropping a track. I
Yes.
get the credit, and so Team Taco is out here
Team
crushing right
Taco,
now.
come on. I wish we had one of those sirens. Burr, 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 burr. Yeah.
Paul, why don't you have one of those sirens? You should have one of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
handy.
but
My
yeah.
villains over there. Paul the siren. Um, if anyone is watching, or I know people are watching,
Yes.
if you want to drop questions in the YouTube or in our general chat in the Discord, hit us up if you have questions for Nicky. Great artist. I think this is going to be great. I've got a ton of questions because I'm a fan, and you've already got a really great career going. And so the first thing I want to dive into is actually your name,
Mhm.
because something funny came up internally. We have a girl who works for us, Atomic, on Discord, who saw the drop calendar and did not know what ill meant to us. She just knew it like from being sick, and she's like, I don't understand why you'd name yourself that. Like, oh, I guess internationally, like when I was growing up, ill was like very common slang, like ill communication. It was everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Um, do you want to walk people through what ill means and where ill Nicky came from?
Yeah. Uh, Simply put, ILL is an acronym for I love life. It was a just a kind of a random thought that I had one day that I wanted to have. I was really inspired by guys like ASAP Rocky, that team. And I loved how there was kind of a lifestyle to it, and everybody kind of took on this name. And then ill also meant a lot to me because for years I worked at a restaurant that my family's involved with called Il Fornaio. And ill is like an Italian word for, if you call someone ill Nicky, that's like saying the Nicky. So it all kind of aligned in that way. And it meant a lot for me to have like a name that we could push as a lifestyle brand because that's what the ill movement is. It's a community that we've been building. And as you can see here in 403, like a bunch of like-minded artists and producers and writers and um, all kinds of things, just entrepreneurs in general. That it's really we care so much about building that community. And I thought that something that I will forever stand by is love. So that's something I wanted to forever have attached to me.
That's great. I just assumed it was just the slang, like the Beastie Boys were using, just that West Coast
It's
ill,
it's
the
that too.
cool, dope.
Yeah, it's
It's also true, right? You're also ill in that way.
some say it's so, but I love that too. That was also a reason is I grew up on hip hop, so it's like, of course, I loved the idea of having just a very generic uh rap name like that, and I like how it played into that. So it felt right, and it was I think sometimes when you're especially when you're coming up, you just gotta be decisive. I remember it crossed my mind, I wrote it all down one night when I was living in Oakland, and I was just like I ran it by my brother, and I was like, "Yo, this is what I want." And he's like, "You seem pretty sure of yourself," so it's just something I ran with. And,
Nice. So you're from Oakland originally?
so I'm from Boston originally, and then me and my immediate family moved out to the Bay Area, North Marin, a little town called Terra Linda. And then I moved to Oakland with my brother, North Oakland, Emeryville area, and then, to San Diego, where I met Sean and Don, my business partners, and we started our little LLC, our label called the Ill Movement. Started doing my thing down here, and then 3 years ago, moved to LA, and then we opened the studio up.
So you've moved around quite a bit.
Coast to coast, yeah.
Nice. So I think you mentioned Triz has recorded at your studio.
Yes, yeah, we're big
Did you
fans.
know him? Did you know him from LA, or from before that?
So our my very close friend Xavier, who shout out to Xavier, our song "On the Coast" just went into got licensed by the NFL. I was just telling you guys, so we're excited about that. But Xavier is someone I've known for a decade because we met in San Diego, both in the music scene out there. And X is really close with Triz. They've done mixtapes together, and so he was always championing Triz and showing us his music. And then eventually Triz started coming by and recording some stuff here. Um, and I know that he just dropped on Gala, so I was excited to see that.
Yeah, we love Triz. I didn't know there was even a connection with you guys, but that's great.
Yes, yeah, super dope guy.
So, how did you get into music originally? Where did it come from?
I was in the Bay. Of course, being in the Bay Area, we had so many influences of the DIY type careers. Mac Dre doing Trill TV, E40 doing Sick With It Records. I mean, even as far back as Too Short. The Bay was just always that. And so my brothers got into that. And I think one of my brothers is tuned in right now. My brother, we call him Big A. He actually has a reclaimed wood company now called Sons of Salvage. And he actually was always building things, even as far back as when he was 15, 16. He went and just got a bunch of like wood and things from not gas station, things from the, like, yard sales, and he built a kind of a makeshift studio, and my oldest brother, Mike, was really good at freestyling. So they just started making music, but most of their songs would never have choruses on them. And I was like I loved guys like Akon and T-Pain. This was, like, my era, like, I was, like, coming up with a lot of the guys who were doing melodic stuff, um, Kid Cudi, you know? So I loved that these guys were always the kind of the catchy part. And so I used to always say that to my brothers, like, "Yo, let me do that catchy part." So they used to always just rap verses and I would throw the chorus on, and I think that's where I just got my initial start in music. And it was always around in my neighborhood. It was so many rappers in my neighborhood, so it just worked.
That's amazing. I love the idea of your brother building a studio out
Yeah.
of reclaimed wood.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think he used like an old fence that was in our backyard. They knocked the fence down. My brother was like that. He took, like, old reclaimed stuff and was always, and so that's it's funny. It's funny that, like, ultimately he would build a business like that because 'cause he'd been doing that since he was 15, but, it kinda was a great start to my career because 'cause I'm still independent and, we have a very grassroots kind of team. So it made sense that we went from the very start of building our own studio to kinda having one now, and, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and you're in your studio now with
Yes,
a bunch of the people from your team.
absolutely.
They don't have to get any camera time if you don't want, but if you wanna shout out who's in
Yes.
the room with you,
Yeah, right here, this is the shyest one. He probably won't stick his face in, but this is Billion. Billion Coast produced a bunch of stuff for Marky Basie, a bunch of big records, and, he produced the record Everybody's Watching that we're doing with you guys. We've got Wyatt Woodley over here. He's our young gun, amazing producer and artist. You'll see more from him as far as the music goes. Sean, of course, right here. Sean Powers, my business partner. That's the guy right there. That's the guy right there. Actually, this is merch right here that we did. Our
Bye,
Virgil
Mama.
merch. That's the guy. 10 years ago we started our business together. And then Obvi, right behind the blue Batman, is a blue Obvi, and he is a one of the best songwriters in the game. And I don't say that just to be biased because we co-write a lot, but he's literally one of the best songwriters in the game. Um, tons of credits. And so these guys are. This is most of the squad here every day, um, just making our stuff and trying to take it a step further.
I like that. I like that
Yeah.
your whole squad showed out for you in there.
Yeah, we got a couple guys not present today, but they're here in spirit.
That's great. That's great. So is Wyatt just there? Does he like learning from Billion?
I think so. I think so. I think they both learn from each other now. Yeah, Billion learns patience from Wyatt.
Is
No,
that like is that like a tattoo shop vibe? Like you come in as and you first you like help out and do stuff and eventually you get
yeah,
your own chair kind of a thing?
I think so. It's funny you said we always said the barber chairs. No, I think it's we have everybody does their own thing, and ultimately this has served as a kind of a springboard for all the artists with their original music here. And sessions that we might lock down or different things are just kind of ways for us to more progress and invest into our careers. But everybody you see here has their own solo career and everybody that walks through this door. So we're just trying to champion that. And, I think that the best way to do that is just have your own little independent spot. So it's been a blessing to have 403 for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't get to LA too often, but when I do, I'm psyched to go take a tour and hang out.
Pull up. We'll put some of the taco pictures on the wall to make you feel at home. Throw
Perfect.
throw some Gala branding on here, we're ready.
Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Um, that's awesome.
See some of these people in here. Shout out everybody in the chat, man. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, we're filling up in there. It's
Yes,
nice. I like that.
yes.
Um, it's cool. We have a really international global community. And so there isn't like a right time to do these live streams. And so you'll see like you'll run it. And then over the course of 24 hours, you see all the numbers go up from people like they wake up where they live and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go check out Nicky's AMA. And
You're
so
right.
it's
I love it.
cool.
Well, I'm so grateful for everybody that's tuned in. Thank you guys for real.
So we call anybody basically who's not Snoop Dogg an emerging artist. Um,
Yeah.
but there's such a crazy range, and I love the spot where you are in your career because we're calling you emerging, but you're clearly not emerging. Like you've emerged, like you have your own studio, you've got a ton of following already, like you've done a ton of stuff, but I like you're not that household name yet. How do you feel about that? Like how close you are to that and like what you need to do to get over that hump?
That's a good question. A loaded one. Because I think that it's tough to have perspective sometimes. Like I just got to spend some time in Florida with the sync company that we're partnered up with called First Note, and they had me speaking to up and coming artists and aspiring artists and producers and all this thing. And it was really a cool moment to be able to utilize a lot of the knowledge that I've learned throughout this time. But sometimes I don't always kind of like acknowledge that. I also don't acknowledge the reach that the music has had. So a lot of times it does take, like, I have a lyric in this new song where it said, I was driving Uber, now my Uber driver's fanning out. Cause like I literally had a real experience where I really was driving Uber and I've been in 2, 3 Ubers that were playing my music. And it's like, that's an incredible experience because I am still emerging and I don't have a hit record in the sense of like numbers, but the reach is there and it's starting to get more and more out there and it's very validating for everybody, for the whole team to be able to take, because we always looked at me as like a template. Like if we can do this with me, we can help other artists um, make their careers come into fruition. So it's like it's that's an amazing experience to be able to either hear a passing car playing the music or hear a story from somebody being like, "Oh, I was in an Uber and I heard your stuff," or whatever, whatever. So, um, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in this interesting space where I haven't quite broken through all the way, but I think that every time my North Star is always, that purpose is that just keep doing what I'm doing, put the focus on the community that supports me, try not to get too involved with what I think will send me over the edge as far as like, trying to keep up with trends or things like that. Not to downplay it, because I think it's great to utilize the, TikTok and all these different things and get your exposure up. But I think that it's for me, from my mind, it's better for me to be in harmony with exactly what I'm doing by just enjoying it, enjoying the process, showing appreciation to the people who support and listen to the music, and really just connecting with them. So if I just continue to do that, everything's been just going up and up, and it's kind of been our trajectory. So
Yeah, it feels like it is. That I hadn't thought of it in terms of like that hit record
yeah,
because you have the reach. People who are watching the stream right now, they might not know that they've heard your music, but
right,
they've probably heard your music. Like it was playing on Monday night, the Monday night NFL games this
right,
past year. Like it's been licensed to everything like
Right.
Paramount Plus, HBO, NBA 2K. Like if you've played NBA 2K,
That one was crazy.
like
Yeah.
we've heard it, that has to be like the best one, right? Like you hear your music in a lot of different places, but that had to be the one that was like, oh,
Yeah,
damn.
definitely. Definitely. The NBA 2K one, I think what was the most amazing thing, and shout out to River Beats. I see him in the chat right now. One of the producers on one of the records 430 that got into NBA 2K20. And I think what was so cool about that is because I grew up playing things like Tony Hawk, where I forever remember like I don't even listen to ska music. Is that considered ska music? And Tony Hawk? Anyway, it's like I didn't even grow up listening to that type of music, but because it's in my favorite video game, these records are becoming my favorite. And I forever, if I heard that today, I'd be like, "Oh, Tony Hawk." It's this nostalgic feeling, and I think that was our footprint that we were able to put in to the music world was like, man, I see comments on the videos or people that DM me and they're like, your song, your voice forever reminds me of the best summer of my life. 2K, in 2020 when I was just with the homies and these are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 year olds that are reaching out um that like in the summer, their favorite summer of their lives, this was kind of their backdrop and their soundtrack. And like that is the most special thing in the world. So that's what that kind of brought me to that level of exposure that just was insane. And yeah, that's kind of happens a lot. Like people might hear the music, they don't really know uh I'm just a regular looking dude, I guess. They're like, "Hey, you're" like, literally one time, me and Sean pulled up to a show, and they told when we went to the green room, they looked at Sean and said, "You're on in 5." Like, no one knows that it's me sometimes, which is which is kinda funny, but
Yeah, I get that a lot when I
yeah.
go somewhere and no one knows me. Like, oh, you're Taco?
Yeah.
It's
You sure?
like, yep,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of River Beats, he dropped a question. What's the best part about being independent? And would you ever sign to a label?
Yeah, I would definitely sign. It just would all depend, though. Best part about being independent is that there's no gatekeeping or hold up on anything. It's a very free feeling and peace of mind too to also know where your money's coming. But just on the creative side, just being like, hey, we want like for instance, right now I'm dropping a 2 pack that's dropping on the 2 songs that's dropping on the day of my show, and I'll probably get it done like 8 days before the drop, where most labels or publishing companies or anybody involved with that will be like, "No, we need more lead up time." We don't. We're good. We're just so that's probably my favorite part to just kind of be to act on a whim because I just really feel like I like connecting with the fans like that. And just as a person, like it just is freeing to be able to put a thought out and then have that thought go out not too long after that thought happened because there's an emotion attached to that. So I like being able to act quickly. Um, we still operate in a way that's, organized and we try to create deadlines and hit deadlines, but that's my favorite part is the freedom to create and the freedom to drop. But if someone kidding me, if someone pulled up to me and was just like, "We love what you're doing. Here's $5 million." Sorry, bro. Probably gonna sign. But again, it all depends. It all depends. I'll never give up my soul, quote unquote, ever. As far as just like I have to continue to do, you know, and I don't think that exists because if what I'm doing is working enough to be earning $5 million, most likely most people are gonna be like, just keep doing what you're doing. But I would never change up my tone and my values ever for no money. But yeah.
Yeah, if somebody came to me with 5 million and say, change your tone, I'm on it. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Maybe your tone.
The whole thing. I'll
Oh,
change all of it. Whatever you want.
yeah, I do feel you. But yeah, I think it all depends. You know how it goes. It all depends. Like Justin Bieber just sold his catalog, you know?
DJ Inspire wants to know
Hey.
what would your younger self think about where you're at right now?
First off, shout out DJ Inspire. She'll be DJing my set as she always does, at the Peppermint on February 9th. She's incredible. Um, what was the question? What does your younger self think about where you're at right now? Um, probably blown the oh, sorry, Paul, not supposed to cuss, but probably blown away. Um, just because, oh, my younger self would be blown the fuck away. Are you kidding me? Like, I was a little ass kid just in the bay, just making music with my brothers on a what bro, what was our thing? Acid Pro, and it was just like we would show our parents, and they'd be like, "Eh, pretty good," and roll their eyes. They always supported us, but like our stuff was not very good, and we would just love to get. Me and my brothers used to film like little videos and just show each other, show our friends. And so the fact that we would, have songs on major video games and I mean the NFL, like these different things are incredible. And even just being able to have a career in music, it's my career, and I even me 4 years ago would be proud that I have a career in music. So yeah, great, good things.
Yeah, and now you're with Gala, which has to be
That's
like the top of all that
pinnacle.
now,
The
right?
absolute. We actually our roof is too low. It's past that.
You
I'll,
made it.
That's it. That's absolutely. I am really grateful for you guys too, and I'm so excited. This is such a cool thing for me creatively because I love the idea of dropping something exclusively. This is really fun to be able to have something that's only available here for right now, and I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I like our approach that we're not, it's like the not label, like we're trying not to restrict what artists are doing. Like when artists are gonna do a drop, we basically just say, "Put out whatever you think the community is gonna want or what you just think represents you the most," and we don't try to dictate, like, "We need XYZ," which I think is really cool.
Absolutely. No, I love that. You guys have been so awesome through this process of just allowing me, like even the cover art I sent is kind of this idea. I don't. Can we show the cover art? Do you have it? I don't know if we're able to. Anyway, it's basically a picture of me at Music Box in San Diego, and I'm on stage, and everybody's behind me throwing up the ill sign, and I just put big buggy eyes, like emoji eyes, over my eyes, and then scribbled "everybody's watching," and I just think that's so my career. Like, there's something about this idea that like taking something, first off, taking something that's already beautiful, and just messing it up. Think that's really cool, and that's kind of as with you guys in your space, you're disruptors, and I think that's a really good image of disrupting, is being like, "Here's something beautiful, I'm gonna I'm gonna mess this up and put my little weird thing on it," and I love that's kind of what we do, and also the fact that it's personalized, so I'm just that's kinda why I sent it that way, but you guys didn't question it, and you're like, "Cool, we're running with it," and I really appreciate that vibe.
We're having fun with it. We get it,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Let's mess some stuff up, right?
100%.
So let's talk about Everybody's Watching. Why that song? What's the story behind it?
Um, very, again, like, really cool process and quick process. Billion and Wyatt, a lot of times they're in the studio cooking up loops, cooking up little production, whether it's on the MPC or they're flipping a sample. They're constantly working, and a lot of these things, they'll go into folders that won't, might not never be touched. And, I think one day they had one on and just like I think it was Billion that was just like, "Write something right now to this and let's be done with it." And so we kinda were in there, and it was just kind of a quick process to and also when I say, everybody's watching, all eyes on me, don't look at me, and I say it's ironic that everybody's watching, now they look at me. So it's like it's this idea that I kind of am coming into this space, and there is this like, dang, all of a sudden there's kind of more and more eyes on me, um, and it was like a cool way to connect with just all of verse 2 is just like a shout out to the supporters, you know? And I'm saying I treat you like family, they treat you like a customer. Like this is literally just a direct dialogue with me and a fan. So um the everybody's watching thing is like just kind of this universal idea that you know it's starting to happen now. Am I ready to receive that? Am I ready to walk that lane? Or do I still not want you to look at me? So there's is that's kind of that. And then the verses, I just wanted to do something on some melodic rap stuff that I knew that the close fan base would really like. So I think that that's the perfect one, and the beats smacking. So I'm happy with this one.
Nice. I'd love to go into the song making process
Mhm.
a bit more because I like the idea. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea of producers.
Uh-huh.
So I talk about it a lot because it seems like it's a pretty vague um, role, right? Like they do different things for different artists. So let's say Il Taco comes to the studio to work with Billion.
But
Um,
Il Taco is so hard.
how would that whole like it would be? Hey, do you have like some samples or some loops you can run for me, and I'm just gonna write a song over that?
It all depends, and we if we come as 403, a lot of times, like, because that is something that we do here, is we kind of take something from scratch and help kind of see an artist's vision through. And so the nicest place to start sometimes is like we'll have our friend Gray or Will come in and lay some guitar from scratch based on whatever vibe you're going for, but just laying a foundation to like laying a melody or to a track, and then having maybe you start writing some melodies to it, write some lyrics to it, and then the producer, someone like Billion, will start to build on that and throw drums in after. But we really try to keep it, and even like some of the loops that they do, or even some of the sample based stuff that he does, it's a lot of times just just the foundation of it, and it might just be the sample and like a little drum on the MPC or whatever it may be. But I think when you can have something that's very simple and it's already dope, then that's great. You could build on it later and add more instruments or add more sounds, add a vocal chop here and there, add more vocals yourself on it. So I think the best place to start anytime, especially when you're in a place like this, is to really just start with something very limited, one instrument or one sound.
Nice. And it sounds like there it's sort of a collective effort, like you're all working together toward that
Definitely.
common goal.
Yeah, definitely. I lean on these guys for a lot of the technical stuff. Like I'm in headphones and talking on this SM7B right now that's connected to a webcam that's locked into OBS, and I don't know how to work any of it. I'm just being honest. I know that's really immature, and know I need to learn my own things, but like the guys allow me to shine in other ways and focus on other things. And so that's really helpful to be able to have a team that knows how to kind of lock me in and portray me in the best way possible. And so that's the same thing with production. A lot of times I like to keep it, a lot of times people will be like, no, I want it like this. And I think that's dangerous in any art space. It's like the point of art is for the collective, especially working with somebody. It's the point to express ourselves on this. And I try not to hold, I used to hold this thing really tight. Another story about my brother Aaron. One time he had built this beautiful table, this gorgeous wooden kitchen table, and it was like I would have been nervous to get a scratch on it. And he was moving in into his new place in Lake Merritt, and the door was really narrow, and so he just snaps his table right in half. I'm like, "Oh my god." And he said, "Never." He said to me, he said, "Never be afraid to break your own project." And I think that was like the biggest lesson for me at that time, because I was always so like, "Don't change anything. I did it that way. Don't change it." And I think that's what opened me to a whole nother caliber in my music quality, is allowing to lean on somebody to be like, "What do you think? What drums do you think? What chop do you think? What tempo do you think?" And this has been able to, the collaboration has gotten healthier, but also the product has gotten way better. So I would say that would be my advice to a lot of people, especially aspiring artists, is stop trying to control everything so much and just allow it to grow in a organic way.
I love that. I was actually just talking yesterday to Monia Ashaibi about production and how you have to be open to changing things. Like you go into a process, maybe you have one idea, but then things maybe evolve or it all totally switches up. So I think
Yeah,
that's a really great message for people.
yeah, man, you gotta stay open-minded, man. Be
Yeah,
open-minded.
and everybody at Gala knows I lean on my whole team. I don't.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
now, Paul's in the background making me look good. I have no idea how OBS works. I don't know how this is all. This is all magic to me. Like he
Let's
just
go.
has me join a meeting and talking to a camera, and
Love that
that's
guy.
it.
Shout out Paul.
Yeah, he's the real hero here. I don't know anything. I can't help people with their nodes.
But it's just all like a mechanism, you know? It's like you do your part, this person functions on their part, and that's how stuff works, you know?
100%. I just hang out and get all the glory, and they all do
Come
the
on, you
work
feel
behind
me?
the scenes.
Let's go. I'm happy to wear it. Yeah.
I know I had a couple more questions in here. Let me track them down while we're
I think I
working
saw
on
one.
stuff.
Oh, shout out Don. Said, "My new favorite artist, Il Taco."
Let's go. What's the what's the process to be a part of the ill collective? What do I have to or ill movement? Is there like a beating in ceremony? Like what goes on?
Text Sean Powers and ask him. That's I would say there's just really like it functions as two different things. Yes, it's the name of our business, the ill movement. But really it's a community. It's a free form community of just support. And I would say, you know, like I think that's why we didn't want to function as a booking studio here because we don't want to work with people that we never see again. And not in any sense rather than just like we like building. And I think that as independent, um, you can't you need to work in numbers, you know? And there's a level of support that happens with our circle. Like, for instance, our friend Xavier is performing at the Viper Room on Friday night. We're all going. And we try to support each and every person that is involved. And really it's just the people that give to the ecosystem. It's not the people that try to take from it and you know, like, cause there is those. And I'm not mad. Like there's so many people that are on their roads and they're walking it and they're gonna stop at nothing. But a lot of times if people come and they're just trying to get a little of this, get a little of that, what without giving to it, and you know, that's just a spirit thing. How are you, you know, treating the people around you? And the reason why our crew and our community is so tight is that I think there's no expectations. There's just, hey, you're doing a show, you're doing this, we're all gonna pull up collectively and we're all gonna support. Um, I've been really lucky to be somebody who has hoisted up a lot and supported a lot as kind of like, you know, the again the template. But it is something that we've been working on for 10 years, and I wanted to be that. So I think that the support that I get, even from the circle of friends that I have, is amazing. They'll put their stuff away and work on a song with me, work on a video with me, and vice versa. I try my very best to show up for those in my circle. So there's really no process other than just you know interacting. Come to a show, come show love, pull up to the studio, show us some stuff. You know, like and it's not just to music. I mean, we have people that I work. There's a guy that I'm close with. That's a chef in San Diego. There's people that are my boy Eric who runs a taco truck.
Let's go.
Yes, there's tons of different people that have um, really not much to do with music or even the creative arts, but we still support in a way that's like it could be anything. So it's really just like-minded entrepreneurs, like-minded visionaries, and there really is no process other than just interacting. But on the business side, that's that's a different thing.
Sure. Yeah. Either way, I'm in Massachusetts, and so
Yeah,
tough for me to get. I'll just be a fan and a supporter from the East Coast.
you are the ill movement.
I'm the ill movement in my heart, right?
Yes, come on, all the way, all the way.
I do need to get some merch though
Yeah,
to represent when I'm doing these.
you put up my Shopify link, pick anything you want, Taco. I'll send it to you. I'm serious. I'll even make you something uh something for like for just you, like a taco that says ill on it. Oh, that's kind of off-putting. But like we'll think of something.
If people don't know what it means, it might look strange.
We'll do a taco and it's like a rotten taco, and then under it it'll say foodborne illness.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
All right? We're ready, man.
That's great. I don't think I have any other questions in here. And is there anything we didn't cover? I feel like we hit all the important stuff,
Amazing. We're
right?
just
Yeah. And it's been 35 minutes. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Um,
Just want to say
oh, Billion wants you to talk more about your show coming up. Bill gets
yeah.
it.
Bill Gates.
Let's write your show at Peppermint. What am I?
Yeah.
I'm bad at this game.
No, you're not. You're fantastic. You're all fantastic. And again, thank you guys for being in here. The next show that I have is at the Peppermint in West Hollywood. It's a show that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And it's on February 9th, Thursday, February 9th. I'll be dropping exclusive merchandise and also having guest performers, some really dope guest performers. I'm dropping a song with somebody who I am a longtime fan of. So it's kind of surreal to be dropping a song with this particular person. And that project is called Love You Not. And all of that stuff drops on the day of the show. So tickets are available on Live Nation. If you just type in Ill Nicky Peppermint, you'll see it. And, if you wanna DM me, we're also, like, letting go of packages and stuff if you buy a piece of merch.
I like that. I might actually be in LA the weekend before that.
Oh,
I
that'd
wonder
be
if I can
amazing.
figure out a way to just hang out in LA for that week.
Just tell the company, like, they gotta extend your trip because this is very important that you connect with, Gala Music's own. You just be like, it's you know what I mean? It's important for the business.
It's about the community. Like I'm obligated,
Community.
right?
Absolutely, man. Let me know what you need, bro. I'll put you on the list.
And I'm gonna figure that out. That sounds pretty good. We have a lot of people in LA in the community. If you're in LA in the community, go to this show.
Yes, please. Please do. I'd appreciate everybody, and if you wanna DM me and you can't afford a ticket, we'll figure something out. We'll figure out something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Just DM me.
Um, on top of the show, obviously, you're dropping a track with us at Gala tomorrow, Thursday,
Yeah,
at it might be. Is it? I think it's 1 p.m. Pacific.
1 PM?
I think so. I think they moved it to 1 p.m. If I'm wrong, I'll post about it in Discord.
Well, we're very excited. We're ready to
Yeah,
go.
it's gonna be great. It's 100 tracks, which isn't a ton of tracks. So I think this is gonna go pretty well.
Can
Um,
you maybe explain to the people that are in here, um, that might not know, like, what that means? Because I know a lot of people that I didn't really I'm still learning, But when you say 100 tracks, you mean there's, like, 100, uh, NFTs available that you could purchase, right?
there are 100 copies of the
Right.
NFT of everybody's watching.
Dope.
And
And
that's
that's
it.
it.
That's the whole time.
And
So
then
in our ecosystem, when that song gets played, which will generate a rewards distribution,
Mhm.
it's a 1 of 100 on that, which is pretty great because it's going to
Yeah.
get plays because all your songs get plays,
Yeah. Well, I
right?
appreciate that, man. This is gonna be dope. This is gonna be really dope.
You've been Shazammed over 250,000 times. I didn't even know that was a stat. You can track Shazam,
Yeah,
but
they give you the stat on Apple Music. If you guys go to if you're artists, you go to Apple Music, they'll show you. The Come Alive one got a bunch through the Monday Night Football games. It was just it got a there was a lot of people. And then
yeah,
the 2K stuff too, so but
that's a cool metric because that's 100% just people out and about or watching TV or whatever show,
mhm,
or they're playing a game and they
yeah,
hear a song and they go, "Oh, that song's dope. Like, let me get my phone out and pull up this app and go through all this trouble because I need to know who this is." That I think that's really cool.
I think it's really cool too. I think it's really cool too. I Shazam all the time, so I can't believe it sometimes if I was in a coffee shop the other day and there's this song that was so fire and I Shazammed it and I had like 18 Shazams. I'm like, "No way." I've and then so you feel like you found a gem. But
Yeah, that's what this is about, finding gems.
that's it.
Um, Conscious Tone wants to know, are you doing a video for this one?
Um, what up, Tone? Big shout out. I see you, Tone. Dope ass artist. Am I doing a video for this one? We did a video actually in studio video last night that will be exclusively releasing with you guys. So if you're you know, if I don't exactly know how that's gonna work. Maybe you could explain, but basically make sure that you guys are joining the Gala Music community so that when you do get that track, you'll also be able to see the exclusive performance. But a music video, I usually just play it by ear. If there's a demand for it, I'll do one. But just a performance video for now.
Well, there's one vote for yes for a music video.
Okay, write
Right.
that down. We'll mark that.
Awesome. All right. This is amazing. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for hanging out
Thank
and
you.
chatting.
Thank you so much.
Um, thanks, Bill, for keeping me on my game with shouting out the peppermint.
Appreciate you guys, man. For real. I wonder if
Yeah, and we'll see everybody tomorrow for the drop.
yeah. Here's our studio. There's Sean. Shout out Sean. Here's some more
What's up, Sean?
Virgil stuff available now. But yeah, you can kind of see our little room over here. We got that little New York City vibe. But thank you so much, man. Appreciate you for having us.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody.
Peace, guys.
Bye.